Hey guys, Moose here. We are back with another episode of Starbound. You may be wondering, Moose, why are you not on an asteroid building your colony? That would be because I learned some things in between episodes. I learned about falling, and I learned about falling off of asteroids, and I learned about how you can't get your inventory back once you've fallen off an asteroid to the very bottom of that particular map. So I lost a ton of shit. That's not why I don't have much right now. The reason I don't have much right now is because there's a sewer on this planet that I was recording an episode exploring, and I died in it. And then I died into it. I died in it trying to recover my inventory 4 or 5 times. And I figured that's a pretty shitty episode, so we're re-recording it just to hopefully have better gameplay here. The conversation was good though. Ooh, why didn't he hit me there? Interesting. Conversation was good though, so I'm gonna probably talk about a lot of the same stuff because I think it's interesting. I think for a lot of people it might be extremely boring or a little bit too close to home for them. So I hope that's not the case, but yeah, hopefully it'll be like a enlightening experience for you because it's work related. So I've been having a really stressful week, and it's, honestly, you could go a couple different ways on it. I'm salary, so I don't get paid for overtime. I get 40 hours worth of work, and that's it. And I think technically, from a legal perspective, I could say fuck off after I hit 40 hours and just go home. But I think generally if you do that, you basically don't stay employed for very long. And I don't just mean at the company that you're working at that time. You probably are going to have trouble working anywhere. Or at least anywhere that you would want to work, where you're in a situation that you would be salaried. So, point is, basically, I need to work the overtime. And the frustrating thing is, people have been making a lot of mistakes this week. And they've been making a lot of mistakes that cost me a lot of time spent into work, or that I now have to sink into additional work to basically fix. And it's one of those things, right? Like, it's really frustrating because I'm not getting paid for that time. It's just extra stress and work that I now have to cope with, and I'm trying to run a YouTube channel and also further my education alongside it. And, I've always got the usual life stuff going on as well in the background, whether it's health related or relationships or family. There's always bullshit going on. No one's life is boring and simple all the time. Everyone's got stress to deal with. So, that was bad. So it's really especially frustrating when, here's a sewer, by the way. It's frustrating when on top of all of that, you have someone who, in this case, used to be reliable, was very good, actually, probably one of the people I look up to in this company, who's now really not doing, he's doing okay. He's just making mistakes that I never would have thought he'd make. And it's kind of frustrating. So, I don't know. The flip side of that is, look, I've got a pretty good life. I shouldn't be whining, so I'm going to stop whining. Things are good. I honestly should just be thankful for what I've got. Because I'm employed. And I live in California, and I can afford to live in California. So, really, we made it back with relatively little fuss. So my life is real good. I'm not gonna try and get on here and say, oh, poor me, everything's so horrible, everyone should pity me. No, that's bullshit. I don't deserve pity. But regardless, when I complain, it's more because I feel like it's a useful, relatable experience. It's something that, I can talk about, maybe you can relate to. It's not so much that I feel like you should pity me or anything, because frankly, you shouldn't. I already got this one. Yeah, codex already known. So yeah, well, that was boring. We got to the end of it already. So yeah, you pretty much saw everything there is to see here. There was very little of consequence in the sewer. This is unfortunate, but it just seemed to be a minor little sightseeing thing. I'm gonna try and get somewhere safe and equip my bandages here. There we are. So yeah. Anyway, point is, don't feel sorry for me, just, I hope you don't have to deal with the same bullshit. Or at least, if you do, I hope it's not currently happening this week. Though, I will say, if you're working in industry at least vaguely similar to mine, and you're in a position in very, very general terms that is similar to mine, you are probably dealing with something similar. And the reason for that... Oop, you're not... I didn't even see that thing. Oh, that's why it buries itself. That is bizarre. Very interesting, though. I can't hit it when it's... So that's really obnoxious. I'll have to keep an eye out for those. So if you're working in an or if you're even if you're not, let me give you an idea of why things are kind of rough right now and why I suspect they're rough for a lot of people. Ah, okay, so I can shoot the petals and it works. Kind of. So basically, right now we're in kind of mid to late September, right? So the thing about that is September is the 9th month. So if you, I'm sure you've heard this before, even if you're not in a business that uses it, it is rainbow wood. What the hell? I was looking for plant fiber. Oh, I'm getting both. That's awesome. Rainbow wood and plant fiber. These are my favorite ones. Even if you're in a business that doesn't use this, or even if you're not employed, you know, you're a high school kid or a college kid or grade school kid who's not working yet, it's good to know anyway. A lot of businesses use quarters as kind of their time frame for various metrics, performance metrics, figuring out, you know, like if you're a retail company, there'd be sales targets to hit, things like that. So you'll see a lot of people kind of not always get stressed out, but definitely be fairly singularly focused during this time. Oh shit. Alright, well we'll try running the other way. At least we're out of the sewer. Let's take our two idiots with us. So you'll see a lot of people, I think, stressed out this time of year. Pretty much any, like... I'm not very good with the months, as embarrassing as that is to admit, but at the end of any quarter, that's kind of... It's like with finals, right, in school. When you're getting near the end of it, you kind of need to focus up and make sure that you're doing good work and finishing out your period, your quarter or semester, or whatever it is in school strong. And it's the same way with quarters in business, is you generally your targets are based around that. So like I said, in a retail business, you'd have sales targets and things. My business is not a retail, I say my business. The business I work in is not retail, but it's still quarterly. There's a lot of different things that are quarterly in the world. So we have a lot of... That guy already died, jeez. So we have a lot of stuff going on right now where we're trying to hit particular targets, and, you know, that impacts my workload because I need to be a lot more careful about what I'm doing to make sure that I'm supporting our goals, basically. Trying to go around the other way here. Maybe it's a little more interesting this way. But, so mistakes right now are particularly problematic because we get into a situation where, okay, if someone screws up right now, it needs to be fixed immediately. We cannot afford any hiccups right now because everyone at this point now, everyone is trying to squeeze every last drop out of the numbers that they can. And sometimes that comes in the form of kind of massaging the numbers. I wouldn't say ever faking them, but definitely massaging, and I'll kind of explain what I mean by that, because it seems sketchy, but it's really not, and I think everyone pretty much does it. It's just, you know, it's the game you play. If you're given a goal to hit, you're gonna do everything you can to make that goal, even if it's a little bit not really in line with the spirit of the goal. And what I mean by that is, for example, say you're doing business, say you're a retail business or something like that, and you bought some CDs. So you're selling music CDs. So you bought some CDs. It's a new album from whoever. Could you, like, get out of the way? Please, you idiot. Thank you. Yeah, so you bought some CDs, and you're trying to sell them, but in the middle of the quarter, you find out well, hey, the forklift driver in the warehouse accidentally dropped a pallet and he shattered like half the CDs on the pallet. They're broken now, we can't sell them. So that could be, CDs are pretty small, right? So if you're putting one on a pallet, you probably got a lot of CDs on the pallet total. So let's say, just totally pulling this number out of my ass, it's like $500,000 worth of stuff that you had these in inventory and now you have to scrap them. That's a $500,000 financial hit that your finance team may say, you know what, we don't want to take this hit this quarter. We want to put it off to next quarter. And there's various reasons why that might be. Investors see that kind of info, so you may want to be kind of showing a different situation for them. You might want to take the hit in a quarter where you can absorb it better, where it kind of gets lumped in with all the other whatever you've got going on. Like there's better sales towards Christmas because people are buying stuff, so you want to do the scrap around then so that it's kind of mushed in with all the sales, so it doesn't look like it's a big deal. You just have very slightly lower sales. There's a lot of different reasons why you might want it at one time rather than another. So what you do is you just sit on it and save, and just hold on to the material and then scrap it at another time. Do the actual transaction at a later time. So there, you can look at it and say, well, that's disingenuous, but that's the way business is done. And the impression I get is that's the way the business has always been done and always will be done. Because if you give anyone a number to hit, they will play that game. I mean, not everyone will, but the people who will succeed because they'll hit the numbers more reliably. You gotta be fucking kidding me. Florin again? I'm not even really actively trying to find Avian, but I'm at least going on the planets with them, and still, Florin. Jeez. I'm starting to think the tooltip for the game might be wrong. I'll have to look that up online in between episodes. But anyway, so the interesting thing about that, where you're saying, okay, well, we're going to delay the financial hit to another quarter, is that's not without cost. You can't just sit on inventory and not pay anything for it. I think there's tax involved on your owned material. If you own inventory, I think there's a tax on that. I'm not exactly sure. That's far, far away from my expertise. But in general, there's carrying costs. Like it takes up space in the warehouse. You have to pay for that space. When you pay the lease or upkeep or whatever on the warehouse, then there's also paying the warehouse workers to move it around and stuff. There's all kinds of costs that get built into that amount, whatever it is. And even if you're making yourself look a little better, I think the other guy died. Too bad. Even if you're putting it off for a little while to make yourself look better, you're still probably paying a sum of money to hold that inventory to begin with. So it's even doing that, it's not free to do it. So the funny thing is, there's this metric. This metric exists to make the business better, right? And saying, well, if you hit these numbers, oh shit, I'm gonna get screwed here. Okay, we made it, I think. For now, I'm gonna take a hit here. I'm fine with that. Take that hit, and probably this one as well. Nope, that one. I don't have any medkits. Fuck. Pray I make it to the desert area, or at least far enough away that I can heal. Okay. Sorry, I'm gonna have to delay talking for a second here. Getting a little intense. Oh god, I thought that butterfly was an enemy. Alright, let's craft. Let's pray that nothing's coming for me. Please, please. Yes. Okay, now we're in good shape. Okay, so what was I saying? Yes, there's a financial hit associated with carrying inventory, so it's kind of a big deal to be... No, I need to open the door. Please. Oh, fuck. Oh, die. Please die. Okay, thank God. Death doesn't really matter in this game, but holy shit is it annoying. Alright, let's move on. Ah, we're in the desert area. Okay, nope. Okay, good. Yeah, I can shoot through the door. Fantastic. Oh, thank God. Alright, so... yeah, there's hits for carrying inventory. So it's funny because they're paying money to save money. But you know right up they're not save money. They're paying money to look better. Does that make sense? So basically by delaying the scrap transaction in that situation and saying we're going to hold on to these broken CDs that we know we can't do anything with and we'll have to scrap, by holding on to it, they're agreeing to pay even more money than they would have just by scrapping them immediately. So they're sinking more money into looking better on paper. And I want to be totally clear here. There's lots of bad things you can say about capitalism, and this may be one of them. But I can guarantee you, people would not do that if it didn't help. And when I say help, I don't mean help them make money directly, but I mean if it didn't make them look better to investors, they would not do that. I'm gonna die here. Yeah, that was inevitable. I almost made it though. Shitty. Come on, I want to talk to... There it is. No, you can come. So yeah, I mean, it's crazy, right? Like they're basically saying, I'm going to pay more money to look better on paper, even though that theoretically the idea of looking good on paper is that I'm making money. But they're basically sacrificing some of what would have been profit to look better and nothing else. So I am very amused by that. I think it's actually very funny. And the scary thing, maybe not scary, but really interesting thing about it is, again, like I said, no one would do that if it didn't make sense, if it didn't get them more money. So the interesting thing then, or maybe not more money, but make them more attractive to investors. So it's this game that everyone plays with themselves and each other to do something that on the face of it makes absolutely no sense, but ultimately, because you can never be perfectly informed, puts them in a situation where they can not mislead, but look better. And you could argue, well, isn't that misleading? Yeah, a little bit. But it's not... I wouldn't call it a lie. I really don't think it's a lie, and I mean that honestly. Is it misleading? A little bit, but that is kind of the society and culture we've all kind of collectively agreed to live in, isn't it? This is not the only lie that we deal with on a daily basis, so a lot of them, you call them white lies or whatever. This, I think, is in that category. I think it's an expectation that's just kind of built in everything because everyone does it. So should we not do it? I don't know. I don't think it matters, honestly, because it's one of those things where the playing field is at a certain level and you can raise it or lower it, be less honest or more honest. With that, I don't think it's going to change anything. I feel like I'm going to die here. Oh my god, I'm amazing. And I'm gonna throw it away and die in a minute regardless. Oh my god, I'm not. Okay, now I might. Oh, come on, that should have hit them. Oh fuck, you're gonna throw this at me now? Run for your life. I've gotten really good at dodging. Well, better at dodging. Okay, I want to get that. No, I don't want to get that. Well, no. Okay, don't be stupid, Moose. Come on. Whatever's in that chest isn't worth dying again, having to do this run all over. Honestly, that's like 90% of the only reason I explore planets is like, okay, well, I died halfway on the other side of the fucking planet. I can't recalibrate where I land. So I guess I'm running for it. This is obnoxious, but that's, you know, that's a game. Minecraft has that too, so... It's a compelling reason to play the game. At least the items don't disappear in like 5 seconds like they do in Minecraft. But yeah, anyway, I hope you enjoyed the kind of business talk. That's one thing that I learned getting into the industry that I'm in now. It's just very interesting the way things work, basically. and kind of the psychological bullshit games we play with ourselves to try to get ahead. And then at a certain point, it's not even about getting ahead anymore. It's just about keeping pace with everyone else who's also lying or misleading in such a way that it's not illegal. So I would say in this case it's harmless, but I would definitely say that if you're thinking about this and thinking about other situations where it's not harmless, I would say, yeah, there's definitely situations where it should be or is illegal and should never be done. But I think this one where you're just kind of like messing with the timing of transactions, I think that's moderately harmless, simply because it doesn't really affect the end consumer much. And I don't think it really affects other businesses too much, because either way, you're still, mathematically, you're still taking the hit. You're just kind of... And if you have... Oh, crap. Oh, that's actually convenient timing anyway. If you have a massive financial hit, you can't hide it. Like, at some point, you're gonna have to show that to investors, and they're gonna see it, they're gonna ask you about it, and you're gonna have to, you know, pull down your pants and let them look, basically. It's going to happen. And even when you do a smaller scrap transaction, if it's significant, they're gonna know. They're gonna see it, they're gonna know. But little tweaks with the timing and things, it's something that's done. And I think every business pretty much does that. Small, big, doesn't matter. We all play that game. So anyway, that's just one small example that doesn't apply to every business, but it's an interesting thing maybe to think about, you know, how things are written off and how things work. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. If you didn't, tell me and I'll shut up and never talk about it again, but it's something that I find interesting. I'm always curious about the way things work and the way things are done. So anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope you'll join me for the next one as well. Take care.